needs to send out the message for Mr. Nawaz Sharif and the Pakistan government to finally get it. The people of Pakistan also have no patience anymore for this continuing Kashmir record every time on every global forum. We've got with us on the Newshour Maroof Raza, Consulting Editor, Strategic Affairs, Times Now. We've got Commodore Ranjit Rai. He's former Director, Naval Operations and Intelligence. He's live with us from Delhi. Major General D Bakshi will be joining us in a while. Also with us from Islamabad is Mohammed Malik, Senior Journalist, and Defence Analyst Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, to whom I will put the first question. Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, isn't it embarrassing? You know, for long you said the Indian media has an agenda, you keep doing propaganda. Now your own journalists are saying, look at Modi, he comes here, he goes and meets the who's who of business in the United States, takes billions back home, and you go and meet a kirana store owner, a grocery store owner in Brooklyn, and otherwise you're so busy with your Kashmir propaganda at the UN. Why don't you just address the issues that matter?
You know, you view Pakistan with a very preconceived, anti-Pakistan and very biased approach.
I'm talking about
I
your
feel
own
that
media.
Mr. Nawaz Sharif could not have been more lenient and decent in his raising this very correct issue of Kashmir in a better way than this, what he has done.
Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, answer the question your own media asked your Prime Minister.
I'm answering your question.
Why don't you get your priorities right?
Your question is provoking, right? And it speaks of your typical mentality which wants to increase this difference between Pakistan and India.
So let me guess, Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, was the journalist who asked that question of Mr. Sharif also a raw agent?
I would suggest.
Let me guess, must have been a raw agent then, right?
There's no embarrassment. Mr. Nawaz Sharif could not have been more polite and decent in raising a very correct issue.
Answer the question about the Pakistani media, sir. First question to you was about the Pakistani media and the question they have posed to Nawaz Sharif. Answer that question first.
Between these two countries.
So, Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, fine, we are biased. We are biased. You're convinced we are biased. Is all of your also if all of your media also biased against you and Mr. Nawaz Sharif?
Of course. No, I'm talking of India-Pakistan relationship. I'm not going to talk of one odd particular program which we have been able to take from Pakistani media. We have more than about 50 channels.
Absolutely.
I wonder if you have seen the other channels.
Absolutely.
I'm glad.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You based your
I'm glad you brought that up because let me tell you,
engaged in peace process.
Let me tell you, Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, you're talking about one journalist asking one uncomfortable question. Let me tell you what Islamabad's widely read daily, The Nation, reported. In their editorial, they said, and I quote them, the odds are stacked against Pakistan. It's like a joke. Increasingly, Pakistan has nothing to offer to the West, including personality and charisma. We are stuck with archaic, redundant policies of following the same deadbeat formula of successes. That's another daily for you. Then again, we had the Daily Times who said, Modi continues his charm offensive in the West with a speech to the UNGA that was everything that Nawaz Sharif was not. All of them, I'm sure, biased against you. It's an entire agenda that media in India, media in Pakistan, the whole world has got against you, sir. Wouldn't you agree?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead. Mr. Mohammed Malik, please come in.
What's the point of debate? Are we discussing the content of the Prime Minister's speech or the message he gave to India? Or are we here to have a very fruitless discussion about...
No, Mr. Malik, actually let me
going into the four specific points brought up by Nawaz Sharif. We will be going into that.
But no, it is very pertinent, Mr. Malik. The point is that these points have been raised by your media for the simple reason that the Kashmir rhetoric is old, it's tired, it's the deadbeat formula that your media is talking about.
No, listen. I mean, I can speak on it. I can speak about it as a journalist. You're all journalists also.
Can I comment?
There are something like hundreds of newspapers in Pakistan. There are hundreds of public newspapers in India. There will always be a few newspapers who have a certain opinion. That opinion does not in any way become the official viewpoint of the majority
Mr. Malik, and let me also add over here before I bring Maroof in on this. I watched 6 news channels of your country, and all 6 of them were scathing at the very least of the kind of speech that your Prime Minister made at the UN. It was very clear the opinion was that this was an opportunity. This was an opportunity to try and further Pakistan's interests on the global platform instead of harping on an issue which is not going to lead to anything. Well. Yes, Maroof, come in.
I think
he did it very well.
I think peace anywhere. Peace anywhere is a global issue. War anywhere is a global issue, because the way the world has become now, when you have unrest in Middle East, it becomes a global issue. When you have unrest between or tension between two nuclear armed countries, it becomes a global issue. The definition of bilateral issues and bilateral peace has changed. And that's the reality.
No, sir. I'm sorry. That's not a valid argument. Let's also get Maroof and General Bakshi in. Maroof, you start first, then General Bakshi.
See,
also, gentlemen, if we can just look at the finer points.
Malik Saab.
Sir, Mr. Malik, please allow us to get our Indian guests also into the discussion. Now, Maroof, if we want to look specifically at what Nawaz Sharif said, let's take the points that he's talked about. You know, since they're unwilling to look at the Pakistani media's response, Maroof. Yeah, let's talk about those.
Well, okay. Now let me sort of put it in perspective based on the points that Mr. Malik and the Colonel Saab have raised. Now, if we want to discuss the content of the Prime Minister's speech at the UN, Mr. Nawaz Sharif's speech, he raised 4 points, if not the 5th one. The 4 points were: A, he is looking to work with India in a peaceful and cooperative manner. Then if he is looking to do that, why is he always getting stuck on an ego issue that Mr. Modi should invite me for the next round of meetings, just like he did in UFA and nothing worked out of it? It is very clear that Mr. Nawaz Sharif is obviously addressing a public and political gathering back home and not the international community, because after UFA, he's come under a lot of flack for having given Kashmir a skip, just like Manmohan Singh came under a lot of flack at Sharma el-Sheikh for having added Baluchistan to the joint statement. Having said that, let me raise the 3 other points that Mr. Nawaz Sharif labored on. The second thing, he talked about demilitarization. Now, if the UN resolution on J&K is an article of faith for Pakistan, and I grant you that, sir, that it's an article of faith for you, then please read the UN resolution. It talks of your demilitarization, allowing India to keep certain troops out there. Exactly. Whereas we both countries have militarized extensively. And what is happening? You are talking of addressing the demands of the people of Kashmir. What about the people in Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan? Aren't they the people also of the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Technically, they belong to India. Sir, please listen to me. Let me complete my 4th point, Tina.
Maroof, let's take the points one by one so that we can get their rebuttals on it, and we can also get General D Bakshi.
No, you let me complete here. What is the point? You guys don't...
Okay, no, Maroof, go ahead, but we want to get their responses on each of these points.
Nawaz Sharif made 4 points. No, you don't. First, let me complete the 4th point. How can they get responses when I have not completed what I have to say? What I am trying to say is that his 4th point was about demilitarization of Siachen. They never reached Siachen, so what are they going to talk about demilitarizing? So all the 4 issues that Nawaz Sharif raised, other than bringing the Kashmir people into the dialogue, then he should allow the people of Azad Kashmir, POK and Galtistan also to become part of the dialogue process. It is completely a one-sided agenda he is proposing, and he expects us to take it seriously.
And what's happening in POK is a different story altogether.
I asked for 4 points.
Exposed.
I've given you the 4 points. Now, if you want to contest that, carry on.
POK. That we don't even need to start talking about. Let's get Mr. Mohammed Malik to respond.
Can I comment?
Yes. General Bakshi, just a second. Mohammed Malik wants to respond.
You mentioned.
I finished, sir. I made my 4 points. Now let them keep squabbling.
Facing the flag. When the Balochistan issue came in Sharma el-Sheikh, I was there. So I witnessed the whole thing. Balochistan issue did not come just as a chance or as a matter of grace. It came there because dossiers were exchanged. You talk about the 2 Kashmirs. There is one Kashmir where there are 700,000.
Sir, there are no dossiers. I'm sorry. Even Sartaj Aziz has no dossiers. When Mr. Doval threatened him, to show the dossiers, Sartaj Aziz called off the clip. There are no dossiers. Your evidence is based on one article written in Foreign Affairs by an American journalist. There is no dossier.
If you do not listen, I am not supposed to listen to you then. Have the grace to listen to my argument.
Okay, complete your point, Malik.
I finished my point,
please.
Well, if somebody would let me complete, I would complete it. So let's talk about the two Kashmirs. The reality is there. Just now I'm shocked by Mr. Maroof saying that there is no battlefront or the highest battleground on Siachen. He said nobody ever reached there. I can't see a bigger denial than that. The issue is, Nawaz Sharif...
Sir, please go there. This is the biggest lie. This is the biggest lie purported by your army. You ask your army, they are 5 kilometers away from the Sultoro Ridge. Never a soldier of Pakistan. They call the entire glacial region a theatre of Siachen. There is no theatre, sir. You never got to Siachen. Your generals, including Musharraf, have admitted that to me that you never reached Siachen, and that's why Musharraf did the Kargil invasion.
Okay,
is as a matter of repulse that Musharraf repulsed it back by when he was repulsed back, he did the Kargil invasion to get even on Siachen. Your troops never reached Siachen, they've never been there. You want it hidden from the world because it's another defeat glaring on you.
I don't want this illiterate argument with one guy shouting and the other guy shouting back. I'm sorry.
Let me also get General G D Bakshi in. No, we will allow you to respond. Let me just get G.D. Bakshi in because he's not had a chance to speak just yet.
General G.D. Bakshi,
if we start looking at the points raised by Nawaz Sharif, other than the obvious Kashmir rhetoric that is always brought up, if you look at the specific pointers, General G.D. Bakshi, you know, the first one itself talks of ceasefire and the unmogging. The point is, that itself, to begin with, is a farce because who is to blame for the ceasefire violations all the time?
You know, firstly, I'd like to state at the very outset that Pakistan is not aware of the Kashmir fatigue factor as far as the rest of the world is concerned. They are sick and tired of the K-rant, and I think the Pakistani media has very correctly advised the Pakistani Prime Minister that he might choose some other more relevant agendas.
Exactly.
He's flogging a dead horse. The world is not prepared to listen anymore to Pakistan's obsessive, compulsive behavior on the issue of Kashmir. They can rant for all they like. The world is not listening. That's point number one. As far as the very magnanimous and very generous offers that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is supposed to have made, I mean, the simple fact is, it has been shown, highlighted to the whole world that he is not in command in his nation. His army does not listen to him. The military ISI complex is absolutely running amok. Whatever he committed to at Ufa was not permitted to go through.
No, but Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, it's a fact. Because you know what the General has said right now is exactly what I was trying to ask you at the outset. There is a Kashmir fatigue. Your people are saying it. The people in POK are saying it. The people in your media are saying it. Why can't you recognize if this really is a Prime Minister in command, why doesn't he talk the language of his people? Whose language is he really talking? That's the pertinent point, Lieutenant Colonel Saeed.
Ma'am, he is
more than half the media in India was calling Mr. Modi a murderer of Gujarat.
No, sir, they weren't. They weren't, and half the media, the full media also reported that he got a clean chit. So please do not go into this familiar refrain. I can rebut all of this, charge for charge, point for point. So please do not go down that road. Answer my simple question. If you're going to dismiss all this criticism, it's going to be to your detriment.
Let me comment on Mr. Bakshi.
Your Prime Minister will not listen to your people.
Have you remember, my friend, that Mr. Modi is our elected Prime Minister with a massive majority.
To both the gentlemen from Pakistan, please answer the question. And the question is specifically about whether or not Nawaz Sharif is in charge. Did he or did he not make a complete U-turn after what happened in Ufa? Gentlemen, what was the understanding in Ufa? Kashmir was not going to be a central issue as per the understanding in Ufa. What has prompted the absolute U-turn? Who is genuinely in command in Pakistan? That is the question. Please answer that.
Ma'am, that is the reason this is the reason that we cannot get bilateral engagement fruitful, because the way you view Pakistan and the way you come to terms with Pakistan is absolutely not bilateral. You try to force unilateralism on Pakistan, and this unilateralism Pakistan is not going to accept.
No, but sir, it is Nawaz Sharif who's trying to force unilateralism. Look at the conditions laid out. Each and every one of those conditions is a farce. What he has said in front of the United Nations is a farce. Because if there's anyone to blame for any of those points, it is Pakistan. I'm going to bring in, let's bring in Commodore Ranjit Rai as well. I think he's been holding on for a while. Yes, Commodore Ranjit Rai, we've not had you speak yet, so please, gentlemen, allow him to make his opening points.
Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in meaningful manner.
Thank you very much. Salam alaikum to my friends from Pakistan. Salam alaikum. After the din and noise, let you understand that a beleaguered Prime Minister of Pakistan came to the United Nations. As you have been explained by the other speakers, he has been under pressure from the army. He has got his reservations. He brought a ventilator subject, a subject which is on the ventilator of the United Nations. Kashmir. The Prime Minister of India has said, let us talk Kashmir. And terrorism, the Prime Minister and NSA have said, let us talk terrorism. He talks about terrorism in Pakistan. What about the terrorism on the border? And of course, there was a slight of the China factor in whatever he said. China is looking forward to peace between India and Pakistan, so that development can take place. Your Prime Minister was there with the same hackneyed subject. Was there nothing new? Can he put something on the table? Can he come across and say, like Musharraf said, my soil will not be used for terrorism. He will go back and be lynched by the army. You've got big problems. Let both of us get together. Let us see the sense.
Yes, Mr. Malik, answer that. What's the point of bringing up a ventilator subject? Because it's what the deep state wants to hear.
I can answer that.
Yes, Mr. Malik, answer that.
He was there for business. He was there to get money for you, for my country, if we two cooperate. Otherwise, it will be coming to us. So please, let us analyze his speech. Say he spoke very well. You defend him very well. We are trying to tell you the truth. What is happening in India? What is happening in POK? What China expects from you in Afghanistan? Put it on the table. Let's get back together where we were 67 years ago.
Okay.
All this din and noise. Siachen is a closed subject.
All right, Mr. Malik, respond to that.
Make sure that the line of control along that is done. Your army is suffering. Our army is getting on top.
Yes, Commodore Rai. Let Mr. Malik answer that.
The problems that we had.
Yes, Mr. Malik.
So I wish we could turn a chapter. But let's not go back to the din of a ventilator subject. Let's discuss Kashmir.
On one hand, we hear India saying that Pakistan. Am I on air? Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
On one hand, we hear India say that Pakistan army does not want peace with India, and it's responsible for the acrimonious relationships. When the Pakistani Prime Minister talks about peace and puts peace on the table, the first thing we hear is, who is in command? If the Pakistani Prime Minister was not in command, could he go and give such a major policy statement?
No, but sir, the question is, if you're talking about demilitarization of Kashmir, one second, it is Pakistan that has illegally occupied Kashmir. So if you talk about demilitarization, who needs to move first? Who needs to withdraw troops first? Isn't it Pakistan?
Can I answer?
Yeah, please, but answer that question.
Well, if you keep interrupting with one fresh question after the other, let me talk about who's militarized which part of Kashmir. What are the symbols of militarization of any area? Who has, like I said earlier, who has 700,000 soldiers there? We don't have it on our side of Kashmir. Who has absolute free access to travel to which part of Kashmir? Anybody, even from India, anyone from any part of the world can go to our part of the Kashmir and meet anyone. Where are the restrictions on your side of the Kashmir?
That's lovely.
So you're talking
That's
at a time when a video has emerged of the kind of atrocities that we've seen
actually belies my Kashmir.
Can I respond to that, please?
I want to bring in
Can I respond to this gentleman?
I can't believe, Mr. Malik, that you would actually say, just a day after the whole world has seen what your police and your army does to people in Gilgit-Baltistan, what is happening to people in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. They are being dragged on the road, and you talk about militarization in India's Kashmir? What are you doing in POK?
What ought to happen?
Can I come in? Can I respond
These are
to
the
this
pictures. They're
Pakistani
on
gentleman?
the screens, Mr. Malik, and you would want us to believe these are all falsehoods? General Bakshi and then Maroof. General Bakshi.
What are the rules? I think I just...
You know, I would like to remind Mr. Malik that India has to place a large quantum of troops in... Mr. Malik, kindly listen. I have heard you very patiently. Mr. Malik, I'd like to inform you that the Indian armed forces have not only to safeguard Kashmir against Pakistan, but also there are huge quantum of the People's Liberation of Army of China.
Why don't you hold up
plebiscite in Kashmir
and you'll find out,
are you defending it or are you usurping it?
Hold up plebiscite.
Why don't you hold a plebiscite in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir?
You are also interrupting.
Why don't you hold a plebiscite in
Baltistan?
Why don't you hold a plebiscite in
Baltistan? When the issue of plebiscite comes up, Maroof has already talked about it. Maroof has already addressed the issue of plebiscite, which comes with preconditions which have not been met by Pakistan. So that is a completely redundant argument to go into right now. Yes, General D Bakshi, please complete your point.
You know, I was trying to point out that the UN Security Council resolution, which you do not tire of citing time and again, requires the Pakistan Army to vacate every inch of POK. Have you met those conditions since 1948? No. What right have you to ask for any plebiscite anywhere? Number one. Number two, a constituent assembly was duly elected in Jammu and Kashmir and ratified the accession to India. Free and fair elections have been held. Have you held free and fair elections ever?
Of Jawaharlal Nehru, not us. Not us.
No, and the fact is, Maroof, and I want to bring you in also on this, the esteemed journalist is talking about how India must demilitarize Kashmir.
And the United Nations asked you to get the hell out of Jammu and Kashmir.
Excesses on the people of POK. They are the occupiers and they are also the aggressors. They are the oppressors. In POK, the world has seen it now. Yet we supposedly are shown to be the villains.
Okay, who's the best judge of that?
Maroof?
Okay, I'll ask a very simple question. Okay. You have a disputed territory.
Mr. Malik, can you please let Maroof answer the question that I have asked him? Can we please go with that?
No, I'm asking a question of Mr. Maroof, if you allow me.
You are welcome to ask your question after that, but may I please also ask a question?
Let him ask.
No, Maroof, go ahead.
My question is very simple.
Let Mr. Malik finish his question. I am happy to handle it.
People, there are two ways to go about it. Either the issue goes to the United Nations, where the Committee of Nations can talk about it, or you ask the people of that area, where do they stand, what do they want? What is Pakistan saying? I said, forget about India, forget about Pakistan. Let's ask the Kashmiri people. If they are an integral part of India, and
that's
they're very
not the
happy
understanding.
With you, they'll say.
That is not the understanding that has been signed on the peaceful by the two countries. It is meant to be Maroof a bilateral issue. Why should a third party come in? That is never been the understanding.
Yes, Maroof.
Yes, Maroof.
And the plebiscite was decided upon. That is you can't rewrite history for heaven's sake.
That's the point we're trying to make. Yes,
अब आपने सवाल पूछ लिया, आप जवाब भी सुन लीजिए. आपने सवाल पूछ लिया. May I answer? Mr. Malik has made in his wisdom 3 or 4 points. Point one, which is repeatedly chest thumped by Pakistan about the plebiscite issue. Yes, we took it to the UN because Nehru was goaded by Mountbatten that we will get a final outcome of the resolution in India's favor, just like the Russians promised India an outcome of the 65 war along the ceasefire line. Both the Brits and the Russians have let down India. Having said that, sir, meri baat suniye. Malik Saab, you don't like being interrupted. I don't like being interrupted. So let's have a gentleman's debate.
My apologies.
Point
my
one,
apologies.
That you are saying that plebiscite. Ab UN resolution of 13th August 1948 kal ke pad lijiye. It says very clearly the plebiscite is only going to be held when part 2 of the resolution is completed, which is Pakistan's complete withdrawal and India's partial withdrawal. If you don't accept the terms and conditions of that, how can we have? And Jinnah Saab himself was on record to say that this is not going, because I don't have trust with India, so there is a trust deficit, we will not withdraw. And that's where the lines were drawn. Having said that, let me answer the second point you have raised, that this is repeatedly I've heard for last 20 years from Gawhar Ayub Khan's days when he was Pakistan's foreign minister under Nawaz Sharif, that we've got 700,000 troops there. Agar 700,000 troops hain, then the Indian army is 1100,000. But rest of our commitments in the northeast with the Chinese, battling all kind of other insurgencies and out of area operations, you think we are going to put 1/3 of our army for that and 2/3 only to take on the Kashmiris? The realistic figure, sir, is 337,000 troops in Northern Command, of which only 40% are deployed in the valley, rest on the LOC. Aap mante nahi hai, to just go on the net and check any Indian publication.
No, Maroof,
yes, there are paramilitary men. The total figure, I can put my reputation at stake, is not more than 300,000 dealing with every insurgent. And you are saying about freedom for the people of Kashmir. Aapka constitution of 1974, though you've had 4 constitutions, but you people swear by the 74 constitution of Bhutto. What does that say?
In fact,
that the POK people have no other choice but to accede to the Union of Pakistan. Otherwise, in the choice of independence or otherwise, will be an act of treason. And you are trying to lecture us that we should give them freedom. First, look into your own constitution. At least we allow the Jilanis of the world to wave Pakistani flags, whereas you people put them under the jackboot. Should I name the number of publications that have written and pointed the finger at you? What you do in POK?
You throw them away. They go missing.
You shoot them, they go missing, and they're found dead on the roadside.
No, you answer the question, sir. The question is, what rights do the people of Gilgit-Baltistan have?
I will tell you about the constitution.
Sir, Baluchistan ka haal dekhiye. You look at Gilgit-Baltistan. You look at... Just read Christopher Snedden's book. Just read Christopher Snedden's book on Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. You will yourself be ashamed.
You talk about occupation. There are pictures now from POK which show Pakistan to have been lying all of these years. What will you lecture us on excesses?
As per their own wish.
Why are we discussing Balochistan is my question. When you say, ask the Balochistan people.
No wish is allowed. All your Kashmiri leaders are made to stand in a queue in Islamabad to get the handouts from the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Kashmir Affairs. You are saying they've got independence? Aap Sardar Qayyum Khan ko jhanda de diya to independence hota hai?
Please.
What independence they have? They are kept under the
Gentlemen, let's just talk about some specific points here. You are talking about independence.
Sir, aapke logo likh rahe hain. Main nahi keh raha hu.
Let's just bring up this thing. Jammu and Kashmir have had elections all the way through, right since 1977, right up until now, till 2014. I'm asking you about Gilgit-Baltistan. Their first elections were held in 2009, while the people of Gilgit-Baltistan have never voted in a parliamentary election. What rights, what independence, what freedom are you talking about?
Sir, iska jawab mujhe dene dein. Ma'am, you need to improve your knowledge. There were regular elections in Gilgit-Baltistan. It is only that their status was changed.
We are talking about the first elections having been held in 2009.
And they were given another system arrangement. And then...
What about the programs that General Ziaul Haq conducted in Gilgit-Baltistan? What about the massacres that Brigadier Parvez Musharraf, as the FCNA commander, carried out in Gilgit-Baltistan of the Shias?
Very patiently. I need to clarify 2-3 things to you.
And why go so far back as General Ziaul Haq, General Bakshi? In fact, let Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed answer about what has happened just a few days ago. We've got images, we've got visuals, we've got people of Gilgit-Baltistan demanding azadi from Pakistan. It's happening now. If they're so happy in this lovely democracy that you've introduced them to in POK, why do they want azadi?
And where is that demand? On what basis are you saying that? This is ridiculous.
On video,
it's documented. It's documented. The protests in POK are documented.
The whole world saw. Who were these characters outside the UN?
I mean, there is a
who were these characters agitating outside the UN?
There is Mr. Malik
who was agitating outside the UN building.
Others
Indians
protesting against Modi also. So don't tell me about 50 people everywhere. Every leader has opposition.
Sir, I want to pull up those pictures. You're talking about 50 people outside the UN. I will show you a crowd.
You live with it and see your pogroms against the Shias. You see your massacres of the Shias. You see what the Lashkar-e-Jhangvi is doing to the Shias.
Do you want to listen to an answer or not?
Sir, I'm sorry, because every fact that is put in front of you, either it is discounted by you, it's discredited, either those people are agents or they're doing propaganda.
I'm giving you an answer.
Why can't you just talk about the facts, Mr. Malik? The fact is that you claim India is an occupation force, whereas you are the occupiers of POK. You have taken away their human rights. Their human rights are being violated.
Ridiculous.
And these people are speaking out today. Your media speaks out, it is silence. Your people speak out, they are packed off into police cars. Why? Why is no one supposed to ask these questions?
What are you talking about? Are you talking to the top of your head?
No, sir.
We are talking about Amnesty International figures. We are talking about Human Rights Watch. We are talking about...
Did you see the video yesterday? We are talking of visual evidence, documentary evidence of your atrocities in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The whole world saw it yesterday.
All right, please go. Mohammed Malik, your response
now. The world sees people being lynched, and the world saw the Gujarat massacre also. The world saw the burning train also. Let's not get into that. The world is seeing a lot more.
Let's not go into cases that have gone to court and have been resolved in court.
The world saw the massacre of the Shias. The world saw the killing of Akbar Bukti.
And so,
let's get focused.
So one more thing, the world also sees thousands of people sleeping naked, hungry.
I think the focus has to be your way also when you talk of atrocity.
Let me clarify something on Gilgit-Baltistan. Unlike India, which treats an occupied territory as its two-tongue, we created a special status.
It's officially acceded. Where is the occupation, sir? Sorry? There are documents. It is an officially acceded territory. It is part of India.
Well, then open it
What
to
occupation are you talking about? The only people who are occupying any part of Kashmir is Pakistan.
When Kashmiri leaders come and meet the High Commissioner of Pakistan,
they are not the elected representatives. I'm sorry, I beg to differ here. Who are these leaders? Who appoints them the spokespersons for the people of Kashmir? The people of Kashmir have come out and voted as recently as 2014, come out with more than 60% and voted. They have elected representatives. And even then, your people choose to engage with the separatist leaders rather than elected representatives. Who's at fault here?
You know what?
People have exercised their right to vote.
Debate because it has become hackneyed. The world is suffering from Kashmir fatigue. Pakistan's stand is not based on convenience. It is based on principle.
Absolutely.
Just because the world is facing fatigue doesn't mean we should give up what is right. Kashmir is not a Muslim-Hindu issue. Kashmir is a human rights issue. You are violating human rights there. We just happen to be involved with it.
Is based on principle and the principle of secularism. Every citizen of India is an Indian first and a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh or Christian.
Yes, but we are talking to you about evidence of human rights violations in POK. Why are you completely sidestepping that? We are talking to you about facts. We are talking to you about figures. We are talking to you about footage, video. Facts that the world has seen.
Why can't we ask?
Yeah, footage sharing.
Why can't we ask?
I don't know whether to react to it or to laugh out loud.
Will you cross your heart and say all is well in
it?
Wait, Commodore Rai wants to come in. Commodore Rai, yes.
When the footage came out of that priest along with his children,
can I come in?
Yes, Commodore Rai wants to come in and then General Bakshi. Commodore Rai, you first.
Isolated incidents happen, actions happen. Strikes happen in India also.
Commodore Rai, the simple question is, Pakistan today says, as a matter of principle, Kashmir for it is a human rights issue, which is great. But why don't those same human rights concerns apply to their people in POK? Why doesn't it apply to the 22% of the Pakistani population that is still living below the poverty line? Their human rights are not important, is it, Mr. Malik? Commodore Rai wants to respond. Mr. Malik, please, let me
finish now.
Let the others come in, Mr. Malik.
We did not incorporate Gilgit-Pakistan into the mainland of Pakistan because we say it's part of the disputed territory.
Mr. Malik, if you keep trying to outshout the others, this is going to go nowhere.
Gilgit-Baltistan.
I'm sorry.
Its assembly is independent.
I'm sorry. What you're the same hackneyed point you're making again
I think
and again.
this needs to be countered.
It's not going to take you any further.
So tomorrow, if the Kashmiris decide that they want to go
Mr. Malik, I would like to respond to Mr. Malik.
We have not annexed
I'm sorry, the Kashmiris have decided, sir. The point is that you're not willing to listen. The Kashmiris have come out and voted. And that across the world is recognized as the voice of freedom. The freedom to vote. They have exercised that right. Let's go back. Yeah, Commodore Rai, please make your point, because it looks like Mohammed Malik is not going to stop what he's saying, despite our repeated requests to allow
Mr. Malik, it's hardly surprising the way you're behaving. Because this is exactly what Pakistan is want to do again and again. You keep banging on about the same point again and again, hoping that if you say it often enough, it will become the truth. It won't. I'm sorry, I will now have to turn your audio down. It's the only way to take this debate forward. I'm sorry, Mr. Malik, you got enough time. Commodore Rai deserves to come in now and wants to make a point. Commodore Rai, please go ahead.
How do we
Human rights, why aren't they important to people of POK and the people of Kashmir who want the pertinent issues to be answered? Can we please turn down Mr. Malik's audio, please? Commodore Rai. Commodore Rai.
I think you are playing with fire. Can I tell the speakers from Pakistan, you are playing with fire. You have asked China to come and develop a particular area. In that poverty-stricken area, are the people happy with what's going on? The only development that has taken place is a road to Gwadar. That's all you've managed. The road to Gwadar is to the China's advantage. Your people are not happy. I agree with you. You have to defend your country.
It all begins with the road.
You're playing with fire.
Road begins trade. It all begins with the road.
That area is poverty-stricken. They have no liberty. They have no democracy.
The first thing that didn't go there was a road.
You are playing with
talking about?
Yes, General D Bakshi also wants to come in, and then we will return to the guest from Pakistan. General D Bakshi, as you come in on this point, you know, the other important point that has been raised today is when Pakistan talks about demilitarization, should not de-terrorization come even before that? Because that is the main point, and that really is the bone of contention between the two countries. It's not about Kashmir, it's about terror.
Absolutely, the primal issue is terror. Pakistan does not tire of citing the UN Security Council resolutions on Kashmir. What about UN Security Council resolution number 1267, which, you know, enjoins upon all nations to take maximum action against declared terrorists, global terrorists. Hafiz Saeed is one, Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi is another. Number 1 point. My second point to Mr. Malik is he has used the word Kashmir is disputed territory innumerable times in his entire time. Excuse me, let me finish. Please let me finish.
Why don't you have the moral?
Kindly let me finish. We've heard you, Mr. Malik. If it is disputed territory, how have you given parts of it to China? How have you ceded 5,000 square kilometers to China? How have you allowed China to construct a road through Gilgit-Baltistan through what is legally disputed territory? How have you ceded disputed territory? On what legal basis? You yourself have used the word disputed. How have you ceded? How have you permitted China to construct a road through what is disputed territory? Disputed territory, the word that you use.
No. Hold on. This road is will be used by the people of Kashmir. And tomorrow
you said Kashmir is disputed territory. I'm asking you if it is disputed territory. How have you ceded 5,000 square kilometers of Jammu and Kashmir territory to Pakistan? How have you ceded? How have you allowed China to construct a road through disputed territory?
On what basis? I can say you got given 10,000 kilometers to America.
Basis?
Does that
No,
make
but
it
the
a fact?
point is,
this is ridiculous.
The facts are that you are you're yourself
What
accepting
5,000
the corridor.
kilometers?
You are
Haven't
accepting
you
the
seen
facts.
the Shafqat Valley?
You're saying it's for development,
on.
but the fact is you're accepting the fact that this, about
Shafqat
this
Valley.
developmental
Have you heard
project,
that name,
does that
Mr.
not
Malik?
hand over
Does it ring
a
a bell?
lot of control to China? Is that not essentially for China's
development
interests?
projects taking place and giving a land. This is ridiculous. Today, all over the world, companies, international companies, they work all over the world.
Why?
What are you talking about?
No, but how?
Sir, that land is not yours to give.
It's disputed. Exactly.
Sorry?
That land is
Mr.
not
Malik,
yours to
Given any
give.
land. Look,
Mr. Malik,
it is our job to develop
countries do
develop
development
lot
projects.
Of people.
They do not hand over naval bases.
People are
You are
living in a
offering
disputed
China a
territory.
naval
We
base.
should tell them to go to hell. We should not give them a better life. We should not. We are not India.
Oh,
We
sir,
do not
please.
treat
How is that
Please,
giving
let's
them a
not
better
talk
life?
about
Maroof
you should
Raza.
not
life.
Maroof
You should
Raza.
not get strategic
Maroof Raza. Let's get Maroof in on this.
territory to a
Maroof,
third country.
is this about strategic positioning? Is this about giving China advantages? Or is it about benefiting the people, the locals, improving lives? Maroof.
Can I come in?
Yes, Maroof.
Okay, now we've heard both sides of the argument. I would just like to offer to the Pakistani guests one suggestion, and that is either everything that they are standing by and saying is correct, or what others from Pakistan have written about, which is available in the public domain, is correct. Whether it is the biography of Musharraf by Murtaza Razvi, where he has put the onus of the Baluchistan crisis and the POK issue straight on the Pakistanis, despite him being a great admirer of Musharraf. Or you see the writings of Christopher Snedden's Unwritten and Untold History of Kashmir, or you see Stephen Cohen's books on Pakistan, Christine Fair's latest book on the Pakistan Army, or the work of Aisha Siddiqa. Now all that is either true or what our distinguished guests from Pakistan are saying. I would like to go by the version which is available in the international domain after due research which has been written and spoken about. So that's my first point. The second point I'd like to tell our two Pakistani friends and all our Indian friends that we can try what we want. We cannot browbeat the Pakistanis into keeping quiet over Kashmir. They'll go to their graves chanting Kashmir and freedom for the Kashmiris, but that will remain a delusion, because what is with India will remain with India. And I would also like to stick my neck out to say, I don't think we militarily have the capacity to take away from Pakistan what is in their control. And that is the ground reality. If we can keep pointing fingers at each other, my suggestion to the Pakistani friends is, grow up, look beyond Kashmir, you'll do well for yourself. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, so
Would you like
gentlemen,
to
respond to that. Exactly. The point is that for you it has always been about Kashmir, but India has always maintained that it's not about Kashmir, it is about terror. When are you going to get past your Kashmir fixation is the question.
This stupor of imperial arrogance. You want to be a superpower, all kudos to you, best wishes to you, but you're not a superpower. For a superpower, you need to have a super heart also. To be a great country, you need to have a generous spirit also. You have not grown beyond the Indian government. I don't talk about the people.
Which is the country that makes nuclear threats, sir? You're talking about generosity and peace and having a large heart. Which country has been making nuclear threats? Even as India has extended olive branches time and again, your people choose to come here and engage with separatists rather than elected representatives. Your officials, your ministers go out and make nuclear threats, and you're talking about large-heartedness and generosity.
Okay, here's an offer. I'll make an offer.
Can I come in?
Let's have a serious thing. We are bad guys, all right? Okay, for argument's sake, let's say we are bad guys. Now here are the bad guys who are saying, look guys, let's talk peace. Let's sort it out. And you're supposed to be all big, all mature, all secure, all a player of the world stage. Peace. But you don't have in it you to actually sit down and talk across the table and have negotiate your way through. I mean, if you think Bullying has not worked.
No.
Mr. Malik, for God's sake, give us a break.
All Nawaz Sharif said
Mr.
was,
Malik,
let's sit
who
down,
has taken,
let's have a dialogue,
who has
let's engage
taken
with each
all
other.
the recent
And all you're saying is,
initiatives?
you know what?
Since Mr. Malik, kindly give me a minute.
Mr. Malik, please listen to the response.
Malik, kindly give me a minute.
Yes,
Who
exactly
has
the initiatives, the
taken
peace
all the
initiatives you're
recent
talking about. Yes,
initiatives towards Pakistan? Mr. Modi, since his accession in Delhi, has made 3 overtures to Pakistan. Each one of them has been rebuffed.
Please give me an option.
So, what large heart are you talking of? What more can we do?
What is an option? What option does India and Pakistan have except to talk to one another? And what is the wisdom in delaying it? Because delays only
I'm glad you brought that up. Ranjit Rai, our esteemed guest says,
Mr.
what is the option? Wasn't the option right there on the table when the National Security Advisors were meeting? Wasn't that the option? It was decided upon. It was on pen and paper. It was on paper. It had been decided in UFA. The NSAs were going to meet. That was the option, wasn't it, Commodore Rai?
So who backed off?
Absolutely. I think, I admire my friends from Pakistan. You want a rational debate.
You backed off.
The rational debate is, please let me continue with some rationality. The noise of India and Pakistan, I have a voice too. But let me tell you, we were asked to come to Delhi, talk about terrorism. After all, your Prime Minister goes to United Nations and talks about terrorism. He can't possibly send your security advisor, Sartaj Aziz, and bring up 101 excuses. I admire your border rangers and the border security force to stop mortars. But take reality on your side. The world is getting against you. You're the epicenter of terrorism. The United States and India are getting together to actually ease out Hafiz Saeed and others who are the centers of terrorism. China is going through a bad economic phase, but they're looking as your best friend. China is your best friend. It wants you to get somewhere with India. This is your opportunity. Instead of that ventilator, Siachen, Kashmir, plebiscite, what are you talking about? For 67 years, that record has been going round and round and round. I would like to talk to you rationally. Go back. Think about it. What my Prime Minister and our leaders are telling you. This is your opportunity. Of course, your economy is doing very badly. Don't defend it. You have problems, and I wish you the best of luck.
Yes, Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, would you like to respond to that? It's a rational piece of advice.
Yes, I want to respond to this.
Yes, go ahead.
Commodore Rao Saab speaks very well, but I want to remind him he lived that time more than me, in which 65-71 war took place. The relationship is irritant based. Till the time you change your opinion about Pakistan, we cannot engage in bilateralism.
Sir, till the time you don't stop terrorism and cross-border infiltration, we cannot change our opinion about Pakistan. You see, it always comes down to the moot point being terror.
You are totally hegemonic in all
with due respect, Lieutenant Colonel Saeed, you have no option but to keep it bilateral.
Its point of view.
Didn't Ban Ki-moon just tell your Prime Minister 2 days ago, please go back and resolve this between the two of you?
That you want us to do.
have no option,
that is not possible. Pakistan seeks peace, but
General G.D. Bakshi, Pakistan says that because of India's distrust of Pakistan, they cannot have bilateral ties with us. They cannot resolve Kashmir bilaterally. But is that even an option for them, General Bakshi?
You know, I'm very sorry to state, Mr. Malik has been asking India to show a big heart, act like the big power. What do you think we have been doing for the last year and a half? Ever since the Modi government has come, it has made 3 very major overtures. They invited Nawaz Sharif for a swearing in, then the meeting at the margins of the UN General Assembly, and now at UFA. What have we gotten in return? Rebuffs. The Pakistan army completely reversed every decision taken by its own Prime Minister. The National Security Advisor reneged on his commitments that he had personally helped draft and signed, and they were read out together at UFA. It
Yes,
is
Mr. Malik.
Pakistan
Yes, you can
which
answer
has
that, and these are your
got a
final comments.
magnificent
Final
obsession.
comments and a rebuttal,
Its
Mr. Malik.
behavior amounts to obsessive, compulsive behavior. The earlier you realize it, look in the mirror, the better it will be for South Asia.
All right, last comments from you, Mr. Malik.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I think Nawaz Sharif showed generosity of heart by going to India. The circumstances were not... You please understand, Mr. Modi came to the office of Prime Minister with serious baggage.
What about the generosity in extending the invitation?
Who only months earlier had been refused visa even by the United States.
You're talking about his arrival in India, so the thing is, see, we're going back to the same...
Don't worry about Mr. Modi, please.
We're going back to the same points, we're just moving in circles. You know, it has been established, sir, it has been established, Mohammed Malik, that the fact is that from India's point of view, the first stop in improving bilateral ties is going to have to be terror. And Pakistan does not seem to want to get past its gay rhetoric, getting past the point of Kashmir, which is repeatedly brought up on international forums. Gentlemen, I'm afraid we are completely out of time on this debate. But once again, we have seen that the international community is not interested in listening to Pakistan harp on about Kashmir any longer. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on debate number 1 tonight.